Laughter. Cruel, sharp, familiar. A girl shoved into the dirt, mud on her face, boot on her back. No rank, no power, no future. Just an Omega built to obey. They called her worthless, punching bag, pack trash, a joke in her own bloodline. She believed them, until the night the ground shook and the world bowed. Not to them, to her. A hand lifted her from the floor. A voice silenced every bully in the room. A presence that froze the air. They didn't recognize him. They thought he was a stranger, another witness to her humiliation. They were wrong. He wasn't a witness. He was the king. And when his eyes locked on the broken girl, they mocked. He didn't command her to kneel. He dropped to one knee himself. And the wolves who tormented her had no idea. They had just bullied the future queen. Microhook. By the time the cameras rolled, the begging came too late. If you were her, would you forgive the ones who ruined your life? Or make them kneel for it? Tell me in the comments. And subscribe for more ruthless power flip stories. This is the story of a girl born at the bottom. The lowest rank, the weakest blood, the Omega no one wanted. It's a story about cruelty disguised as family, destiny disguised as humiliation, and a fate that hid inside the bruises they gave her. A story of a girl named Luna, who spent her childhood surviving fists instead of futures, mocked by her own family, starved of affection, raised to believe she was nothing. But destiny doesn't ask permission. It doesn't wait for confidence or courage. It drags you, kicking, bleeding, terrified, exactly where you're meant to be. And tonight, destiny wore a crown. The moment she stood back up, everything she'd ever been told was about to shatter. Greyridge Pack Academy, training yard, dirt, sweat, and hierarchy sharpened into cruelty. Luna hunched over a sandbag, ribs aching, breathing ragged. Omega uniform, loose grey, torn at the sleeve. She'd been up since dawn, running laps alone. Punishment for existing too loudly. A whistle screeched, "Break time!" For everyone else, not for her. Alpha trainees, stronger bloodlines, flawless bodies, perfect postures, crowded around the benches, laughing, shoving, showing teeth that never bit down on hunger. Luna stayed where she was, trainer's orders. Keep working, Omega. Maybe by next century, you'll lift something heavier than self-pity. Snickers, then footsteps behind her. 3 wolves she knew too well. Her cousin Tessa, smirk sharp enough to cut. Her brother Cade, arms folded, eyes cold. Her mother Evelyn, perfect hair, perfect sneer, perfect disgust. Family by blood, enemies by choice. Tessa flicked Luna's ponytail. Still pretending you're pack material? Cade nudged the sandbag with his shoe. She doesn't even qualify as a pet. Evelyn's voice was soft, deadlier than shouting. You embarrass us just by breathing. Luna swallowed hard. I'm trying. Evelyn leaned close. Your birth was a mistake we've spent 20 years paying for. The words hit harder than fists. Luna lifted the sandbag again. It slipped, fell, slammed into her foot. Tessa laughed. She can't even hold fabric. Imagine her shifting. She'd probably break her own bones. Assuming she even has a wolf, Cade added. Most Omegas don't. Luna's throat tightened. She did have a wolf. She felt it sometimes. Faint. Buried. Like a heartbeat under ice. But it never spoke. Never pushed. Never helped. Silence was its answer to every plea. Evelyn straightened. You'll never shift. You'll never mate. You'll never amount to anything beyond cleaning floors and fetching scraps. Accept it. Luna didn't look up. She'd learned the rule. Eye contact or challenge. Challenge, punishment. But today, something in her chest flickered. Small, dangerous. Luna whispered, barely audible, I won't always be like this. Tessa froze. What did you say? Luna stared at the ground. Nothing. Too late. Cade slammed her shoulder. She hit the dirt. Evelyn stepped forward. You don't speak like you're equal. You don't dream like you matter. You don't pretend you'll ever rise above your rank. Luna's ribs screamed, one blurred her vision. I'm sorry. You should be, Evelyn said. If you weren't my daughter, I'd throw you out of this pack myself. That one landed like a death sentence. She wasn't just unwanted. She was disposable. A booming voice echoed from the entrance. All packs assemble. Ceremony begins in 10 minutes. Ceremony. Every wolf straightened. Tonight, the Alpha King was arriving to choose a province for his new royal liaison. Rumor said he was brutal, silent, unmated, uninterested in emotion, and definitely uninterested in Omegas. Luna wiped her face and stood. Her knees trembled. Tessa scoffed. Don't worry, the king won't even look at you. Cade grinned. He'll probably think you're staff. Evelyn delivered the final blow. Remember, hide in the back. Low ranks aren't meant to be seen. Luna nodded, like always, invisible by command. She slipped into line, head bowed, eyes on dirt. As the courtyard filled, whispers rippled. He's here. Alpha King, some strongest bloodline in a century. Unmated still, oh, I heard he doesn't even smile. Luna didn't look up. Not when the gates opened, not when guards marched in, not when the crowd gasped. Footsteps heavier than any wolf she'd ever heard approached the front. A presence, magnetic, dark, electric, shifted the air. The pack bowed earned. Luna did too. Face just inches from the ground. And then a voice rumbled. Raise your heads! Everyone lifted their gaze. Except Luna. She wasn't fast enough. Her foot slipped in the dirt. She stumbled. Forward. Straight into the path of a moving guard. She collided. Fell. Landing hard at the feet of boots. Black. Polished. Motionless. Silence swallowed the courtyard. Tessa hissed. Of course she'd ruin the ceremony. Evelyn's voice dripped venom. Get up and apologize before he has you removed. Luna scrambled, shaking. I'm sorry, Your Majesty. I didn't mean. The boots didn't move. Instead, a voice, deep and impossibly calm, spoke. You're hurt. Luna froze. That wasn't mockery. Wasn't disgust. Wasn't command. It sounded like recognition. She risked a glance upward and saw eyes. Gold, sharp, ancient, studying her. Not the pack, her. Gasps rippled around them. Someone whispered, Why is he looking at her? Tessa snarled under her breath. He's disgusted. But the boots stepped closer. The king raised his hand, and every wolf in the courtyard fell silent. Not from protocol, from instinct. Alpha power rolled off him, thick, undeniable, like the air itself bent to his pulse. His gaze never left Luna. "What is your rank?" he asked. Her voice trembled. "Omega, your majesty." A muscle ticked in his jaw. "Who told you that makes you worthless?" Luna's breath hitched. No one spoke questions like that. Not here. She whispered, "Everyone." The king's eyes flickered, something cold, something furious. His voice dropped. "They lied." A shockwave seemed to pass through the neck. Tessa's face drained of color. Cade blinked in disbelief. Evelyn staggered. And Luna, for the first time in her life, felt seen. Then, the king said 5 words that shattered the world. "Stand where I can see you." Not in the back, not on the ground, not beneath anyone. "Stand where I can see you." Luna rose, slow, shaking, disbelieving. The pack stared. The king watched, and somewhere deep inside her, the silent wolf she'd never heard before stirred. The courtyard didn't breathe. Wolves stared, whispered, shifted uneasily. An Omega did not stand in the open. An Omega did not hold the king's gaze. An Omega did not exist at the center of anything. Yet here she was, exposed, visible, seen. The king spoke again. "Name." His voice wasn't loud, but every wolf heard it. Luna swallowed. "Luna, your majesty." A ripple of reactions. Tessa scoffed. Cade rolled his eyes. Evelyn's lips curled like she'd tasted boss poison. The king's gaze sharpened. "Family?" Luna hesitated. Tessa stepped forward with a forced smile. "She's ours, your majesty, unfortunately." Cade added, "She's defective. No shift, no wolf voice, barely useful." Evelyn finished the cruelty like a sentence she'd rehearsed. "She doesn't represent us." Luna flinched. The king turned his head slowly to Evelyn. "And you are?" "Evelyn Hale," she said proudly. "Beta Bloodline, head trainer, mother of—" The king cut her off without blinking. "I didn't ask for your resume." Evelyn's face twitched. The king looked back at Luna. "You represent yourself. No one else speaks for you." Murmurs rippled. Shocked. Offended. No one contradicted him. No one dared. The king lifted his chin toward the assembled ranks. "The royal liaison selection will begin." Wolves surged to form a line. Strong-blooded males and females, ranking elites, polished and confident. Luna instinctively stepped back. Evelyn's hand shot out, gripping Luna's wrist hard. "You will not embarrass us again. Back row, now." Luna lowered her head, old habits choking new air. But before she could move, the king spoke. "She stays where she is." Every head whipped toward him. Evelyn's hand froze on Luna's wrist. "Your Majesty," Evelyn said, keeping her voice sweet. "Luna is not qualified to—" "Remove your hand," the king said. It wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. Evelyn dropped Luna's wrist like it burned. Then, the king turned slightly to his right. "Gamma Rylan." A tall, stone-faced man stepped forward. "Yes, sire." "Escort Miss Hale and her children to the back." Tessa sputtered. What? We're alphas. The king didn't blink. You are disruptive. Gasps, shock, fury. Tessa and Cade were shoved gently but firmly to the back row, humiliated in front of the entire pack. Evelyn seethed silently. Luna stood alone in the open, unshielded, unignored, unprepared. The ceremony began. One by one, elite wolves stepped forward to present themselves as candidates for royal liaison, an honor that meant status, wealth, and proximity to the throne. Strong warriors, gifted strategists, ranked heirs. Each bowed, each bragged, each promised value. The king barely reacted. Cold nod, bored blink, dismissive silence. 20 candidates, 30, 40. Not a flicker of interest. Until a voice called out, "Are we truly wasting His Majesty's time with this Omega's presence?" It was Rowan Blackwater, the pack's golden heir. Perfect posture, perfect record, perfect arrogance. He stepped forward with a cruel smile. "Your Majesty, forgive our shame. This Omega has always been a burden, weak, useless, a disgrace to our land." Luna felt heat crawl up her neck. Rowan bowed deeply, theatrically. "But if you wish her removed, say the word. We'd be happy to dispose of her." Luna's breath stopped. Dispose. The king didn't move for a long, aching second. Then, he descended the platform. No guards followed. No advisor intervened. He walked straight toward Rowan. The courtyard held its breath. The king stopped an inch from Rowan's face, close enough for Rowan to feel the alpha power rolling off him like a storm. "Are you volunteering to challenge my judgment?" the king asked softly. Rowan's smirk faltered. No, Your Majesty. I only meant..." "You meant to project strength by punching downward," the king said, "which is the behavior of a coward." Rowan's face flushed red. The king turned, not to the crowd, not to the council, but to Luna. "Come here." Luna froze. No one called Omegas forward. They called them away, aside, out. Her feet didn't move. She couldn't force them to, she whispered. "I can't." The king didn't soften. He didn't plead. He simply spoke truth. "You're allowed to walk toward power." Something shattered inside her. Every memory of being shoved aside. Every time she'd been told to stay small. Every bruise that taught her obedience. Her foot moved. Then another. Then another. She walked. Toward him. Toward the one place she'd been told she didn't belong. The king extended a hand. Not touching, but offering space beside him. When she reached him, he spoke to Rowan without turning. "Apologize." Rowan barked a laugh. "To her?" The king finally turned his head. "To your queen." Silence detonated. Luna's heart slammed against her ribs. Rowan's jaw dropped. "She's an Omega." "She is chosen," the king said. Tessa screamed, "This is insanity." Cade shouted, "She's worthless." Evelyn stepped forward, trembling with rage. "She is my daughter, but she is nothing." The king's gaze sliced through her. "She was nothing because you chose to make her nothing." He looked at Luna. "She will be everything because I choose to make her everything?" Luna whispered. Why? The king's eyes burned gold. Because your wolf knows mine. The ground vibrated. A low hum. Inside her chest. Inside her bones. Inside her blood. Her wolf. Silent all her life. Now awake. The king stepped back. Power rippling through the air. I recognize the scent, he said. He raised his voice, echoing across the courtyard. Luna Hale is my fated mate. Gasps, screams, chaos. Luna staggered. Mate, the king wasn't finished. And as of this moment, he turned to the pack. She is under royal protection. Rowan fell to his knees instinctively, wolf instincts overriding pride. Tessa choked. Cade shook. Evelyn collapsed to one knee, horrified, humiliated. The king looked at Luna. You no longer bow to anyone. Her breath trembled. The pack stared at her like she was flames made flesh. A nobody. A nothing. Now, untouchable. The king lifted a hand. Prepare transport, he commanded. We leave for the capital, Gamma Island bowed. Yes, sire. Guards moved. Advisors scattered. The king turned to Luna one last time. Walk beside me. Not behind. Beside. As Luna stepped forward, she heard the whispers. An Omega? Fated mate? Impossible. Illegal. Dangerous. And beneath it all, one truth. Everything she'd ever known was gone. Everything she feared was coming. As the king escorted her toward the gates, he said only one thing. This was the easy part. Luna swallowed hard. What's the hard part? He didn't answer. But the look in his eyes told her. The kingdom had teeth. The royal convoy sliced through the night. Black carriages, armored wolves, banners glinting gold beneath the moon. Luna sat rigid inside the central carriage, hands clenched in her lap, heart pounding loud enough to drown thought. Across from her, the king sat unmoving, broad shoulders, unreadable face, eyes fixed forward like the darkness ahead belonged to him, silence stretched. Finally, Luna whispered, I don't understand any of this. The king didn't look at her. You will. That's not an answer. Now he turned slowly, meeting her gaze. It's the only one until you're safe. Safe. The word felt foreign. She'd never been safe. Not in her home. Not in her pack. Not in her own skin. Luna's voice cracked. Why me? The king studied her for a long, unbearable moment. Because fate didn't choose royalty. It chose resilience. Her breath hitched. Before she could speak, Gamma Ryland's voice boomed from the front. Your Majesty, approaching the capital gate! The carriage emerged into blinding torchlight. Luna gasped. The capital was colossal. Towering spires, marble walls, thousands of wolves bowing as the convoy passed. Trumpets roared, crowds chanted, Alaric, Alaric, Alaric! The king, Alaric, didn't acknowledge them. His gaze stayed on Luna. The city will worship you, he said quietly. Or hunt you. Her blood chilled. The gates slammed shut behind them. There was no going back. Here inside the space, everything gleamed tasseled obsidian glass etched with ancient sigils. Luna felt small, shivering in her torn uniform. Servants whispered harshly, Who is she? No rank, Not a noble, not even dressed properly. A mistake. Luna lowered her gaze. Alaric spoke without looking back. If anyone calls you less than queen, you inform me. Directly. Queen. The word felt too big to touch. Alaric led her into a private chamber, vast, silent, lit by moonlight. He gestured to a seat. Sit. Luna remained standing. I'm dirty. Alaric blinked once. You survived cruelty. Dirt washes. Her throat tightened. No one had ever spoken to her like she mattered. Before she could sit, a door burst open. A woman swept in, tall, sharp, draped in royal violet. Her eyes were silver steel. Your Majesty, she said coolly. We need to discuss the announcement. Alaric stiffened. Not now. She ignored him. Her gaze snapped to Luna, dissecting, judging, dismissing. So, she said, this is the Omega. Luna swallowed. Alaric's voice dropped dangerously. Mind your tongue, Cassandra. Cassandra smiled thinly. Oh, I'm simply stating what every kingdom in the realm will say when they hear the news. She stepped closer to Luna. Do you have any idea what you've triggered? Luna's voice was barely a whisper. No. Cassandra leaned in. Chaos. She straightened, turning to Alaric. Kings do not mate down rank. The council will never approve. The nobility will revolt. The border packs will challenge your rule. And if the prophecy is true... Alaric's eyes snapped like lightning. Nuff. Prophecy? Luna's pulse spiked. What prophecy? Cassandra didn't hesitate. The prophecy of the broken crown. Luna froze. Cassandra recited, voice cold and precise. When the king takes a mate of ash and ruin, the crown will shatter and kingdoms will fall. Luna stepped back. Omega, Cassandra clarified. Ash, ruin, lowest rank. Luna shook her head. I didn't ask for this. No one asks for fate, Cassandra replied. But fate doesn't care. Alaric moved between them. Luna is not ruined. Cassandra's lips curled. She already is. The council is convening. They want her eliminated before dawn. Luna's knees buckled. Eliminated? Alaric's voice was ice. They will not touch her. Cassandra's gaze darkened. Then you'd better protect her, king, because right now, every powerful wolf in this kingdom wants her dead. She turned and swept out. Silence crushed the room. Luna whispered, Is that true? Alaric didn't blink. Yes. Her legs gave out, and she stumbled into a chair. Why, I'm nobody. Alaric stepped closer. You are my mate. That doesn't mean anything to them. It means everything. He knelt, not touching her, but grounding her with his presence. When a wolf finds their fated mate, power awakens on both sides. Luna stared at him. I don't have power. Yes, he said. You do. No, she insisted, shaking. I can't even shift. I can't hear my wolf. I'm broken. Alaric held her gaze. Steady, unflinching. Your wolf is silent because she was suffocated, beaten down, shamed into hiding. Luna looked away. I don't know how to bring her back. You don't have to. He stood and offered his hand. She will come when you stop believing their lies. Luna didn't take his hand. She couldn't. Not yet. Hours later, Luna was escorted to a guest chamber. Massive, luxurious, overwhelming. Silk sheets, gold embroidery, a balcony overlooking the entire capital. She sat on the edge of the bed, hugging her knees, unwanted in her pack, hunted in the capital, chosen by a king she didn't understand. Her breath trembled. Alone. Always alone. Until a voice whispered in her mind, soft, shaking, familiar. Luna. She gasped. Her wolf, for the first time, speaking. Don't be afraid. Luna whispered aloud. Where have you been? The voice answered. Buried. Because they taught you to fear yourself. Tears slipped down Luna's cheeks. I'm not strong. Her wolf replied. Strength is surviving what should have killed you. Luna covered her mouth, sobbing. And now, we rise. A knock shattered the moment. Gamma Ryland's voice. Miss Luna, His Majesty requests your presence. Her wolf fell silent. Luna wiped her face, stood, and opened the door. Ryland bowed stiffly, urgently. He led her down a corridor, past guards, past murals of ancient kings, into a towering war chamber filled with council members. Powerful wolves, elders, generals, nobles, all staring at her with naked hatred. Cassandra stood at the front. She spoke coldly. For the stability of the realm, we motion to strip the Omega of mate status and sentence her to exile. Luna's blood froze. Exile meant death. Alaric entered behind her, cloak billowing, presence thunderous. No! A councilman slammed his fist. She threatens the throne. Another snarled. The kingdom will burn if he mates beneath rank. Cassandra lifted a scroll. Royal law is clear. An Omega cannot be queens. The bond must be severed. Luna whispered. I didn't choose this. Cassandra's voice sharpened, which is why you can choose freedom. Luna blinked. Freedom? Reject the mate bond, Cassandra said, publicly, permanently. Save the kingdom. Alaric's power flared, raw, violent. You will not push her. Cassandra ignored him. Her eyes pierced Luna. If you stay, thousands will revolt. Wars will ignite. Blood will spill. Your existence could destroy a kingdom. Luna shook her head. No, I'm just a weapon. Cassandra cut in. A spark, a liability. Alaric stepped between them. She is my mate. That bond is unbreakable. Cassandra smiled. Only if she accepts it. If she rejects you publicly, the bond dissolves. The council murmured with excitement. Hope. Luna backed away. You want me gone? Cassandra didn't deny it. You were not bred for a crown. You cannot handle power. You will collapse under it. Luna felt the words like blades in old wounds, worthless, broken. Nothing. Alaric's voice was iron. She will not reject me. Cassandra raised her chin. Then she should say so now. The room went still. Every eye locked on Luna. Alaric turned to her, guarded, unreadable. Luna, he said softly. Look at me. She did. His voice dropped. You are not their mistake. Silence vibrated. You are my choice. Her heart shattered in her chest. Tears burned her eyes. But behind him, she saw the council's faces. Fear, hatred, rage. If she stayed, war would follow. If she left, she lived alone again. If she rejected him, she would break him. Luna's voice trembled. What do you want me to do? Alaric didn't hesitate. Fight! Cassandra scoffed. She won't last a day. Alaric stepped forward, voice booming. Then I will burn kingdoms to protect her. Gasps erupted. Luna's breath caught. Alaric turned to her again, raw, vulnerable in a way no one expected. I will not command you. Choose. Luna's pulse thundered. Her wolf whispered, We don't run anymore. Luna lifted her chin. I will not reject the bond. Cassandra's smile vanished. The council erupted in fury. She must be removed. Impeach the king. Call the armies. This is treason. Alaric raised a hand. Silence fell. Then let the kingdom hear her choice. Cassandra narrowed her eyes. How? He answered with 3 chilling words. Broadcast it live. Luna's breath stopped. Dipke, public, reversible. Alaric turned to her. You asked what the hard part was. He gestured toward the great hall. It's surviving the world that wants your crown. The council stormed out, preparing the broadcast. Luna stood shaking. Alaric approached her, close but not touching. You won Act 1 by standing up, he murmured. Act 2 by walking forward. Act 3. He met her eyes. Is where they kneel. Her heart pounded. How? A ghost of a smile touched his lips. By letting them underestimate you. Luna swallowed hard. What if I fail? Alaric's voice was low, fierce. Queen, don't fail. He stepped back. They rise. The palace bells tolled. The broadcast was moments away. Luna exhaled. No turning back. The palace courtyard had been transformed into an arena. Cameras, spotlights, reporters. Thousands gathered behind iron gates. Millions more watching across the realm. A massive screen towered above the stage, framed by the royal crest. And in the center of it all, a single platform for her. Luna's legs threatened to buckle as Gamma Rylan escorted her forward. Every step echoed like judgment. Whispers rippled through the crowd. She's the Omega? Unworthy. An embarrassment. She'll ruin us. Someone hissed loud enough to cut. Trash doesn't become a queen. Luna's throat closed. Then, a roar of wings. No, not wings. Power. Alaric stepped onto the platform behind her. Black cloak sweeping, crown gleaming like a blade. Eyes fierce and unyielding, the crowd bowed instinctively. Except the nobles. They stood stiff, cold, seething. A councilman raised the microphone. Citizens of the kingdom, this broadcast is to address that scandal. He spat the word like poison. The Alpha King has claimed an Omega as his fated mate. Gasps, outrage, laughter. The councilman pointed to Luna. This creature threatens the crown, threatens stability, threatens us all. Luna flinched. Creature. Before the word could settle, Alaric stepped forward. Voice thunder. Watch your tongue. The councilman paled, but continued. For the safety of our realm, she must reject the bond. Publicly, now. The crowd roared approval. She doesn't belong here. Send her away. End this madness. Cameras zoomed in. Luna stood alone, small, shaking, exposed. Her wolf whispered faintly, "Stand." But Luna's fear surged. Her voice barely rose. "I." Cassandra appeared at the edge of the stage, eyes glittering with triumph. "Speak, Omega." Luna's chest tightened. A lifetime of humiliation pressed down. The laughter, the beatings, the whispers. The words burned into her bones. Worthless. Nothing. Ash and ruin. Her hands trembled violently. Alaric's voice reached her, quiet, steady, unbreakable. "Look at me." She turned. His gaze locked hers. "You are not here to beg," he said. "You are here to decide." Luna swallowed. "I'm scared." "Good," he whispered. "Courage is choosing anyway." A single tear slipped down her cheek. Cassandra's voice sliced the moment. "Well, reject him. Save the kingdom." Luna closed her eyes. The world held its breath. She saw her past. The pack house she cleaned but never belonged to. The meals she wasn't allowed to eat. The bruises she hid. The wolf she couldn't hear. And then she saw Alaric on his knees in the infirmary, offering her a choice, not a command. Her wolf's voice rose, stronger this time. "We are done kneeling." Luna opened her eyes. Her voice rang, clear, steady, shocking. "I will not reject the bond." The courtyard exploded. Chaos, screams, fury. "She damns us." "Treason! Remove her!" A noble lunged toward the stage. Alaric moved faster than thought. One strike, swift, silent, lethal warning, sent the attacker crashing to the floor. He didn't even break eye contact with Luna. "Continue," he said softly. Luna turned back to the crowd. Strength sparked behind her ribs, small, trembling, but real. "You taught me I was nothing," she said. "You beat that into me until I believed it." Her voice rose, shaking but unbroken. "But I survived you." The crowd stilled. She stepped closer to the edge. "And if surviving cruelty makes me unworthy, then your kingdom was built on the wrong kind of strength." Gasps. The council gaped. Cassandra froze. Luna continued. "I won't run, I won't hide, and I won't apologize for existing." Her wolf surged. "Rise." Luna lifted her chin. "I stand as the king's mate, and if that makes me a threat, then maybe your fear says more about you than it does about me." Silence fell. Heavy. Stunned. Electric. Then a voice sneered from the Vipe dais. "Pretty speech." The crowd parted like a wound. Damien strode forward, Alaric's brother, draped in obsidian, smiling like a knife made of ice. "Millions watch," he purred, "and yet you still don't see the truth." He stepped onto the platform. "Omegas don't rise, they break." Luna's heart slammed in her chest. Damien turned to the cameras. "My fellow citizens, your king's weakness endangers us all. He risks the realm for a girl who couldn't survive a single challenge." He gestured to Luna like she was a stain. "So let's give her one." Alaric snapped. "Damien." Too late. Damien raised his hand. A massive iron door thundered open behind the stage. And a beast emerged, a towering wolf, collared, snarling, violent. Eyes feral, power unchecked, a rogue alpha. The crowd shrieked and scrambled. Cassandra gasped. The council panicked. Damien's smile widened. If she is truly his queen, let her survive the trial of teeth. Alaric's roar shook the courtyard. This is illegal! Damien's voice boomed. The law states a mate of a king must prove worthiness before the realm, or die unworthy. The council hesitated, whispering, calculating. And then the leader spoke. Let the trial begin. Alaric lunged, but gods surged in, holding him back with enchanted chains. He bellowed, Luna! The rogue wolf charged, fangs bared. Claws ripping stone, Luna stumbled back. Now trapped on the platform, nowhere to run. Damien's voice echoed like a death sentence. Let the kingdom watch the Omega fall, sir. Luna's wolf screamed inside her. Fight! But Luna's body froze. Terror, cold, suffocating, rooted her feet. The rogue Alpha leapt, aimed for her throat. Crowd screaming. Alaric roaring, chain snapping. And at the last possible heartbeat, something inside Luna detonated. Heat, light, power. A sound tore from her chest. Not a scream, a growl, her first, ever. The rogue Alpha skidded mid-air, stunned, collapsing in a heap at her feet, whining, tail tucked, submitting. The courtyard fell silent. The cameras zoomed in. On Luna, on her eyes, now glowing silver. Her wolf, awake. Damien's face drained of colour. Alaric stared, shocked, awed, shaken. Luna whispered, Bourgu, voice reverberating with new power, I am not your ruin. She stepped forward, unafraid. I am your reckoning. The screen behind her flashed her image to the entire kingdom. An Omega. No longer small, no longer silent, no longer broken. A tremor of fear rippled through the nobles. A murmur rose from the crowd. Queen! Louder. Queen! Damien hissed. This changes nothing. Alaric's chain shattered as his power surged, eyes blazing. He stepped to Luna's side, shoulder to shoulder. It changes everything. He raised her hand in his. This is your queen. The crowd erupted. Not outrage, not hatred, but thunderous, shaking applause. For the first time in her life, they bowed to her. The kingdom didn't sleep that night. Every screen replayed the moment. The Omega who silenced a rogue. The girl whose wolf woke in front of millions. The mate who stood unbroken beside a king. But inside the palace, silence ruled. Alaric and Luna walked through the grand halls together, his hand hovering near her back, protective without touching. She was still trembling, not from fear, from power she didn't understand. Finally, alone in the war room, Luna exhaled. I don't know what happened out there. Alaric's voice was low, reverent. Your wolf rose. Luna shook her head. But Omegas don't shift. Omegas don't awaken. Omegas don't... No, Alaric said. They told you Omegas don't. He stepped closer. But your wolf wasn't silent. She was waiting. Luna swallowed. For what? His gaze softened. For you to stop believing them. Her chest tightened, as if those words unlocked something deeper than power. Before she could speak, the door slammed open. Gamma Rylan rushed in. Your Majesty, Damien has issued a challenge. Alaric stiffened. Of course he has. Rylan continued. He's calling for an overthrow. Claims your mate bond makes you unfit to rule. Says the kingdom needs a leader without weakness. Luna flinched. Weakness, that word again. Alaric turned, eyes burning. Prepare the arena. Luna grabbed his wrist. No. He stopped. You can't fight him, she said. Not because of me. Alaric's voice turned steel. Because of you, I'm alive. But if you fall, I won't. She shook her head fiercely. This is my fault. My presence lit the fuse. My bond gave him ammunition. I shouldn't be the reason you go to war. Alaric cupped her face gently, anchoring her trembling breath. You are not the reason, he said. He always wanted the crown. He just needed an excuse. She blinked back, heat stinging her eyes, and I handed him one. His thumb brushed her cheek, barely there but steady. You handed me a reason to win. Before she could reply, Rylan's voice cut through. There's more. Alaric frowned. What? Rylan hesitated. He's bringing witnesses. Witnesses? Alaric echoed. Rylan nodded grimly. From her old pack. Luna froze. No, not them. Anyone but them. Rylan continued. He's parading them into the arena. Claims they'll testify she's unworthy, abused, pathetic, a disgrace. He wants the entire kingdom to see what she used to be. The world tilted beneath Luna's feet. Memories crashed. The laughter, the kicks, the whispers. Worthless Omega Ash Girl. Born to kneel. Her breath hitched. Alaric's expression went deadly calm. He wants humiliation. Rylan nodded. He wants her broken before the realm. Alaric's voice dropped to a growl. Then he's forgotten who he threatens. Luna backed away, shaking. No, I can't face them. Not again. Not with the whole world watching. Alaric stepped toward her. You don't have to. She looked up, eyes wide, desperate. You'll fight for me? His answer was instant. I always will. But Luna shook her head. No, I don't mean battle. I mean shame. I can't watch them speak. I can't hear their voices. I can't go back. Her hands clenched at her sides. I'm not that girl anymore. But when I see them, I feel like her again, quiet, raw, true. Alaric didn't argue, didn't force, didn't command. He simply said, then we changed the ending. The arena roared like a storm. Thousands filled the stands. Cameras hovered, screens glowed. At the center, a circle of stone. Damien stood within it, smirking, draped in black, crownless but hungry. Beside him, a small group trembled under the lights. Luna's old pack, her tormentors. Cassandra's parents. Omega wardens. Former pack leaders. The ones who starved her, beat her, silenced her. The crowd buzzed. Damien raised a hand. Tonight, he announced, we expose the truth. Reporters leaned forward. This Omega is no queen, he continued. She is broken, she is dirt, she is filth scraped from the bottom rung of our kind. Cameras zoomed cruelly on the pack. Tell them, Damien ordered. Tell the kingdom what she is. A woman stepped forward, Luna's former matron. Her voice shook with false righteousness. She was useless, A burden, weak since childhood, barely a wolf at all. A man added, "She should have been culled. We begged the elders to remove her. She was a stain on our pack." Another sneered, "We beat her and she still didn't learn." The crowd fell silent, horrified, mesmerized. Damien spread his arms. "And this is the thing your king claims as queen?" He smirked. "The world deserves better." The crowd murmured, uncertain, shifting. Up in the royal balcony, Luna stood hidden behind the curtains, shaking. Her wolf whimpered inside her. "Leave. Run. Hide." Her breath came fast, too fast. Alaric stood beside her. "Say the word," he said quietly, "and we walk away from all this." She stared at him. "You'd give up the crown? For you?" His voice was unwavering. "Yes." Her vision blurred. No one had ever chosen her. No one had ever stood with her. And now a king would fall beside her. Something inside her cracked. Not breaking, opening. She turned back to the arena. Her tormentors stood proudly, unashamed. Damien raised his voice. "The only way to cleanse this disgrace is to reject her before the realm." He pointed at Alaric's empty place in the arena. "Call your king forward." A hush fell, then Alaric stepped into the light. The crowd erupted. Cheers, chants, rage, awe. Damien smiled coldly. Finally, the king arrives. Alaric stood tall, eyes like forged steel. "I'm not here to reject her." Damien scoffed. "Then you doom us all." Alaric shook his head slowly. "No, I end you." The arena gasped. Damien laughed. "You think power wins this? You think strength declares truth?" He pointed at Luna's tormentors. Their words already damned her. Alaric smiled. Slow, lethal. "No." He turned. Face lifted to the balcony. Voice carrying across the kingdom. "She speaks for herself." Spotlights swung upward. The curtains parted. And Luna stepped into view. The arena exploded. Shouts, gasps, disbelief. Damien paled. "No!" Luna began walking. Down the grand stairs, through the noble aisle, across the stone floor. Toward the center. Toward her past. Toward the ones who broke her. Every step echoed like thunder. Damien hissed, "What are you doing? You have no voice here." Luna stopped at the edge of the circle. Her wolf rose behind her eyes. "I do now." The crowd silenced. She turned to face her former pack. The matron sneered, "You should have died small." Luna's voice rang, clear, steady. "I did die." She stepped forward. "You killed every dream, every hope, every part of me that believed I mattered." Her hands shook, but she didn't look away. "And still," I rose. Her words cut like truth forged in fire. "You didn't break me. You built the weapon that survived did you." Gasps. Luna turned to the entire arena. "You called me worthless, but today your king stands because I lived." She lifted her chin. "That makes me many things." She stepped into the dueling circle, beside Alaric. "But worthless is not one of them." The crowd erupted. Cheers, shaking the arena. Damien snarled, "This is a circus. Words don't make a queen." Luna's gaze hardened. "Then kneel." Silence. Damien blinked. What? She faced her former pack. The ones who starved her, mocked her, bloodied her. You will kneel. They balked. Never. Luna's wolf surged, silver light flickering in her eyes. Then the kingdom will see the truth. She lifted her voice, and command resonating with new power. Kneel! The arena shook. Her old pack cried out as their legs buckled. Forced down, faces smashed to stone, trembling under instinct older than rage. Millions watched, as the ones who called her trash bowed. On live broadcast, broken, small, defeated, Damien roared, "This is impossible!" Luna turned to him. "It's justice!" His face twisted with fury. "You think this crown belongs to you?" Luna shook her head. "No, it belongs to him." She reached for Alaric's hand, "But I stand beside the king it chose." Alaric's eyes burned with devotion and pride. Damien screamed, "I challenge you for the throne." Alaric stepped forward. "No!" He pointed to Luna. "You challenge her." Damien recoiled. "She's nothing." The crowd roared back. "Queen! Queen! Queen!" Damien's fury shattered into desperation. He lunged, fast, wild, deadly. But Luna didn't flinch. Her wolf rose, and her voice dropped to a whisper. "Submit." Damien collapsed mid-strike, slamming into the stone, wheezing, clawing at the ground as if crushed by invisible force. The entire arena froze. Luna stepped toward him, slow, powerful, unshaken. "For every word you used to break me." She stood over him. "Remember this." She placed her foot lightly on his shoulder. "Not harm, claim." "I don't kneel anymore." Damien shuddered and bowed his head. Forced, broken, defeated. Alaric approached, eyes locked on Luna. "The realm has decided," he declared. "This is your queen." The crowd erupted like thunder, but Luna didn't hear them. She was looking at Alaric, at the one person who saw worth where no one else did. His voice softened, just for her. "You rose higher than any crown." Luna's breath trembled. "I didn't do it alone." He shook his head. "No, you did it the moment you stood." His hand reached for hers. This time, she took it without fear. Together, they turned to the roaring kingdom, and the world bowed. Not because she was chosen, not because she was royal, but because she survived, and rose, and became. She once begged for mercy. Now the world kneels for her name.